Hello and welcome to the Right Click Save podcast. I'm your host Calcio, joined as always by my fellow host Jimmy T. In today's episode, we are going to be covering the 5 biggest L's taken in NFTs and Web3 in 2022.
So we'll be basically diving, Calcio, straight into your hidden folder in your wallet and going over the 5 biggest L's that happened in the NFT space.
Honestly, the things we've got on this list are far worse than anything I've done. But before we do jump into the episode, a quick word from our sponsor Moniverse, who make this content possible. Moniverse is an art-based project that uses the power of NFTs to hone in on culture and bring it to the forefront. Their aim is to connect communities from across the globe via the most iconic monuments and champion artists and the legacy they create. Moniverse gives holders a unique experience in which they can travel back in time to see what man's greatest creations looked like upon conception via an immersive and educational experience that displays history, art and culture with guided tours via their AI-powered guides. The first drop successfully launched on the 11th of November and featured the stunning Archer piece in Milan, Italy. Following episodes will continue to expand the Moniverse and allow holders access to in-real-life events and further growing out the understanding of the incredible world we live in. Links to find out more will be provided in the description below. Let's start with a big one, Jim. One of the biggest crypto exchanges, Coinbase, had been rumoured to be jumping into NFTs, and it was going to be the onboarding event of your life. It was rumoured to be the next reason that we hit a bull market. It was one of those things that everyone was kind of just putting in their calendar,
of new
like a
users.
Messiah event, like a real Hail Mary. How would you describe the Coinbase NFT marketplace platform's realistic release, Jimmy?
Like when you accidentally follow through on a fart.
It wasn't great, was it? And a lot of people, I think, were just so underwhelmed by what it actually was. I mean, it didn't come out at a time that was great for the market, but it was absolutely dreadful. And let's be real, did you remember it was a thing before we sat and tried to think of the worst things that happened in NFTs?
No, it wasn't one that immediately sprung to mind. But when you mentioned it to me, when we were doing both brought like sort of 5-10 things. We wanted to sort of narrow it down to the 5 worst ones. And this one, it wasn't even on my list. I hadn't even sort of remembered that Coinbase were going to be releasing an NFT marketplace, and they were going to revolutionize the space, bring onboard millions of people, and create their own sort of mini bull run. That everyone was so excited about.
Well, even just down to the way they desperately tried to galvanize apes and things like that to give their IP up in full forever for like 10 grand.
Yeah, the sort of trilogy
the
they
movie,
were going to do.
Yeah, and it's just all shite really. And it's funny though as well, because I think that we kind of desired a competitor to OpenSea for so long, and people kind of accepted that. People kind of accepted that Coinbase, even though they were this big centralized conglomerate, might well be the kind of the warrior that we needed. But it turns out they were worse than OpenSea, which is an accolade in itself.
Didn't loads of people they all auditioned their apes? They went through this massive audition process, and they were like, "Oh, my ape's going to be worth loads now because the IP of it is really sought after because it's like a big character in the show." And then it got panned after the first one, and everyone was because they laid off a load of staff at the same time, didn't they?
Yeah, and then there was just all the stuff about the usernames, where if prominent people in Web3 didn't get the username, they had a paddy, and then Coinbase panicked and were like, "Oh no, we'll give you a username." Overall, absolute stinker from Coinbase.
So POW, first big loser of 2022, Coinbase.
Another one actually for me, which is at the moment with his track record of being a bit of a dick, he's on good form at the moment. Logan Paul's L on his OM1 Force is a story for the ages. Obviously, the guy made a shitload of money off of his rug pull, which is great. It was good to see Coinzilla absolutely blast him and him take no accountability for it, of course. But it is also nice to see that he did take some stinking L's. And obviously this he paid $623,000 for, and it's now worth...
He's only just come out with his apology about his NFT project as well. Literally, I think it was the last couple of days that he's come out.
The only reason he's done that, though, is because Coffeezilla, or Coinzilla, I can't remember what the guy's name is, but called him out massively, made like a fool. Like he had to. Huge video.
Well, even, I mean, how long ago was it that we had...
Robbie
Knox on and talking about that he had some of the eggs.
December or November of 2021, so it's over a year ago, and he was saying that they just didn't hatch and that this one of thing. The problem, the reason it's such a big L is, and one that we celebrate, is because people like him and their failed launches, and why loads of people who saw him as a figure that at the time was being decent again, he fucked us, because that is directly a negative impact on the market, right? Because if people are new, he interacted a lot of YouTubers that I know who are who were well off and that could have done great things in the NFT space. So yeah, seeing Logan Paul take a stinking L on that was.
I think
a
I was
moment
lucky with it really because I didn't buy into OM14, even though at that time in the market I was pretty much buying everything, and it was because I just don't like NFT art where it's like face side on. I'm not a fan of it, and so luckily I wasn't drawn into that one as I probably would have with similar other projects that I was buying.
And our next L is actually one that we mentioned on our previous episode as one of the best moments of 2022, which sounds a bit mental, but it's the Pixelmon reveal. Obviously, it was pretty shit when you think about the $70 million they extracted from the market. People obviously chose to pay for that, but the reveal was absolutely tragic. And I remember people's reactions because on one of the early kind of renderings they'd shown or whatever it was, it looked pretty fucking good. It looked like, okay, cool. I don't see why they need 70 million, but I get why they need money. Fast forward to what we actually got with Kevin and Co. And I mean, this is a stink.
The best reveals of Pixelmon were the ones where you couldn't even see the creature because it was like hidden behind the grass. They were amazing.
I do wonder how people in the NFT space look at things like this, like ourselves included as content creators. You kind of got to understand why the wider audience thinks it's a load of shit, right? When $70 million has been given willingly by people who partake in NFTs
for that.
Do
you think people thought, hang on, is this like a metaverse land drop that I've received instead? Because all I've got is a patch of grass.
I really know, because it's also like a really badly rendered porn.
It was terrible, yeah.
It's just pixelated on my Pixelmon.
The quality was so bad. I mean, let's take a minute to think about them in like their studio or whatever, or this 13-year-old in his mum's
they have
basement.
A garage. They have a real garage.
And them looking at the art as they're about to put it out, surely like they look through the art and would just think, what are people going to think about this? Like, do you think that they went through a stage of thinking, hang on, are we okay to put this out, or did you just think,
they
thought screw it?
$70 million.
Yeah,
takes obviously it's a Dutch auction, so they have no idea exactly how much they were going to make. But I think they thought lots of dollars, and like other projects.
Before that money was received, and then it was like the reveal, wasn't it? So it's like they had the money, and then like, hang on, we're about to reveal this. I mean, when you make that much money and you've got that much art, if it was me personally, I would have probably looked at it and gone, "We're gonna have to delay the reveal, guys. Look at the state of this."
Yeah. Yeah. But then if you think about the meta of NFTs that have ultimately put us in this massive K-hole of misery, it was raise a shitload of cash.
Yeah. Go to the Bahamas.
Raise a shitload more cash on the pre-reveal sales. Wait 2 weeks for no reason. Probably actually the real reason is you haven't done the artwork because you were just waiting. You don't want to spend any money until you've made the money, right? And then after 2 weeks of pre-reveal royalties come in, and you go, here's some bad artwork, right? Yeah. So Pixelmon is meta, actually, for that exact formulation of content. It's
become a descriptive word in the space as well. You know, you can it's helps people now when they look at projects. You can warn people off because, hey, don't buy this. It's Pixelmon.
It's not great. Do you know what is a little bit more lighthearted for us as an audience, right? But for the individual in the next L of the year, probably not so fun. Franklin, he is I'd say synonymous with being a bored ape whale, and he is pretty fucking prominent on Twitter for moments that go viral, right?
Yeah, and flexes how well he does as well. Quite a lot flexes how well he performs.
Which I think is just fair enough, because equally what he does is he does air those L's, as he's done on this occasion. Obviously, the story here is super simple. It's ENS related. He was sick and tired of people putting stupid offers on ENS domains, and so he decided to create his own ENS domain on an alternate account with a really stupid name like "Stop Putting Stupid Offers In on ENS Domains, Bro. It's Not Funny .eth," and then as a joke put a 100 ETH offer in on the name. Consequently, he sold the name, forgetting he'd put the offer in. The new owner saw the 100 ETH offer and decided to accept it. So in the space of what would have been minutes, he went from, I've just sold this stupid ENS domain, to, oh fuck, I've just lost 100 ETH.
That had to, I mean, can you imagine the heart drop of that moment? Like when you'd be like, oh my God, what the hell have I done? I guess that he didn't make a deal to get some of the money back with the guy and was just like, fair enough.
He did try. I remember him sort of trying to tweet the guy saying like, look, you could keep some of it, but is there any way I could have a little bit back? Which is also fair enough, but like, it's just fucking ridiculous. I mean, again, ultimately, he's done very well, but that is a shocker. Like, that is a real clanger, isn't it?
A massive clanger, the clanger, one of the top 5 clangers of 2022.
Well, it's in our list, and to round us off, I'm going to go to the Akutar disaster, or Akutar. I don't know how they prefer to pronounce it, but obviously this one is another one where community was affected really badly. They raised $34 million and didn't have a contract that they'd vetted properly, and as a result, exploits were found, and a group of individuals decided to appease those exploits to the point that the funds are now permanently locked forever and will never be touched forever.
I mean, it's a tough one, this one, because it's just there's no good side of this apart from maybe someone learning a lesson to get your smart contracts properly vetted, because at the end of the day, it took $35 million not only out of the space but out of the world and just locked it away forever. That can't be used for any good or any bad, I guess. But just painful. And imagine how elated the team were when they'd made all this money, and then the fact that they couldn't get it out. I mean, that's got to be soul destroying, right?
It's one of those things where I don't really know what you do. I mean, they did try to relaunch. They did sit down and kind of try to refund people, but obviously you're fighting an uphill battle. You've lost your reputation. You've lost $34 million of other people's money. You've probably spent. I think they spent quite a lot developing their project as well. It wasn't just a kind of quick get rich scheme. Well, it wasn't for anyone, right?
It sounds like a quick get poor scheme.
That I think is 5 of the biggest L's in 2022. I'd love to hear, though, what our audience think about our list and whether or not there's things we've just missed that were massively necessary on that list. But for me, I think
bear market year, there's got to be some, hasn't there, that we've missed. I mean, we brought like 10 different things each to this recording and decided
I had nearly 30 on my original list, and I kind of had to really scale it down.
So yeah, it's been a year of that, and what's going to be interesting to see how that's developed for this next year, because a lot of these things we talk about just shows how immature the space was, and obviously going through a bear market, the one benefit of it is the space does mature, the good actors remain, people developing, building, and hopefully building solutions to avoid these problems in the future. But you can't help human stupidity, and some of those things are just purely based on stupidity.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, I think that predominantly, if you actually look through the list, Coinbase just stink. Logan Paul, stupidity. Pixelmon, just rats.
Scam, rug.
Franklin, stupidity. And Akutar, technically, is stupidity as well, right? Because
that's probably his most expensive joke he's ever made, right?
I think that's probably most people's most expensive joke. To me, I've never made a $150,000 joke.
No. Yeah, and actually, how much was ETH then? Was that?
Nah, it was about $150,000 worth. Only.
Was it only?
Nothing.
Oh, that's
Peanuts.
fine then. You know, pay that for a joke.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of people paid that for a joke, and it was called a booth at NFT London.
That was quite funny for you, actually. I'm pretty pleased with that. As I said, we want to try and make loads more of these videos, which is just quick and easy to listen to. We really hope you enjoyed it. We'd love to hear in the comments below what you think should have been on our list, if there's any glaring omissions. We'll be back next week. We've got an episode with Andrew Wang coming out, one with Bandit, the founder of House of Bandits, one with a mystery guest that we'll be revealing very soon to do a Moonbirds, which will be exciting, and plenty more content coming your way from the biggest, again, quickly to caveat that, and only animated podcast in Web3. We've been the Right Click Save team here, Calcio and Jimmy T. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you soon.